Let's start our next topic. Neighborship conditions in BGP. So there are some conditions in BGP to form the neighborship. Okay. The first one is the reachability between peers. So this is pretty much self-explanatory, right? So if you want to form neighborship between two devices or two peers, then they must be reachable, right? So this is the first one. The second one is the AS number must match with the configured one. What does it mean? Let's say I'm at R1. So we have this topology, simple one. Four routers R1, R2, R3, and R4. So we'll make neighborship between R1 and R2. So these are in AS100. Let's say I will go to R1. Let's say IP interface brief. Okay, so we have some IP addresses I already mentioned, right? So let's say I'm at R1. First of all, let's test the reachability. Let's say I'll form the neighborship using the loopback, loopback 0. And reachability is there. Show IP route, show IP protocol summary. We are running EIGRB. Let's say router EIGRB. Show IP route. Let's put, so what I'm doing is I'm putting the one default route here. Next hop will be R3 and one default route here. So I'm at R1. I'll say IP root 0.0.0.0.0.000. Next hop is 13.3, which is R3. Same thing I'm going to do at R2. Show IP protocol summary. Here also we are running the HRP. Let's remove from here as well. Now we don't have any reachability, right? Because earlier the loopbacks were advertised into EIGRP. Source loopback 0. Now there is no reachability. So I'll put another default route here. 0.0.0.0.0.0. And next hop will be 23.1.1.3. Two default routes. Show run interface serial 3x1. This is shut, so let's shut this. This is up now. Let's go to R1, show IP root. Here also interface is shut. Interface serial 3x0, no shut. Default root. Okay. R3, IP root, static. So what I have done is at R1 I put one default route and our next hop is R3. Same I have done at R2. Our next hop is R3, right? And also what I have done is at R3 I have two static route, one pointing towards the loopback of R2 and one pointing towards the loopback of R1 to make the reachability. So if I getting now 2.2 source loopback 0, now I have the reachability, right? Now if I say show router BGP 100, my neighbor IP is this, right? And the remote AS of neighbor is also 100. Say update source my loopback, right? That's it. I'll go to R2. Say router BGP 100. where 1.1.1 remote AS is 100 and update source is loopback 0, right? But now you can see we are not even initiating the TCP connection. Why? Because as we discussed in our previous video, that the reachability between the peers must not be via the default route. Now you don't have any particular route for the loopback of R2, right? You are just reaching R2 via a default route. That's why they are not even initiating the TCP connection to form the neighborship. Okay. So we will use this to demonstrate some other feature of BGP. So as of now, let's uh, shut it at R1. Let's shut S3 by 0. S3 by 0, I will say shut. Now you don't have the reachability anymore, right? Now let's, to make the reachability between the loopbacks of R1 and R2, let's run EIGRP. Okay, router EIGRP 100. My network is 14.0.0, and also I will apply it on my loopback. Now you can, on R4 we are already running EIGRP. At R2 also I will say router EIGRP 100 network. Let's say the IP is 24. So I will say 24.0.0.0 network 2.0.0.0. Now you can see we have the reachability, or the neighborship is up for EIGRP. Now also you can see show IP route EIGRP. So now we are getting the loopback of R1, right? You can also try to pin source loopback 0. Now reachability is fine. Now check show IP BGP summary. Now you can see the BGP also came up, right? Because now we do have the reachability. Now if I go at R1, IP BGP summary. Let's try to advertise something. I have one loopback here. Show run interface loopback 10. We'll go to router BGP 100. Say network 100.0.0.0 mask. IP BGP. So because it's a class A subnet, right? It's a class A IP address, so we don't need to mention mask keyword because this is the default subnet mask of class A, right? So now you can see R1 is advertising this network. So if you go to R2, IP BGP, you can see R2 is receiving this network. Now let's assume okay, let's go to, let's say R2. BGP. Now at R2, if I say, if I'm at say I'm at configuration mode, let's shut this interface serial 3 by 2. I'm at R2 serial 3 by 2. I would say shut down. Show IP BGP summary. You can see the BGP is still up, right? Because as you know, the timer of BGP are quite slow, or you can say the BGP timers are quite large. It's around 180 second, right? So before 180 second, it will not consider its neighbor as dead. So let's suppose the subnet that it is receiving 100 or something, it is also receiving via R3, and but this is the backup path. So once this path is down, only then it will use this path. So for 3 minutes, it will keep on sending the traffic to R1, though the link is down, right? So your traffic is going to be black hole, right? So let's say if there are some router behind R2 and they are sending traffic to that 100 network, so R2 is not going to send it via the backup link because the BGP is still up. You can see the BGP is still up. It will take around 3 minutes for R2 to realize that the R1, the neighbor or the peer is down. So to avoid this condition, what we can do is first let's shut it. What we can do is I will go to router BGP 100, right? Neighbor, my neighbor IP is 1.1.1 and I will say follower. What this command will do, as soon as my neighbor is unreachable, okay, my neighbor is, what is my neighbor? It's 1.1.1. As soon as it is reachable or it is vanished from the routing table, right? So as soon as it is unreachable, it is going to assume that my neighbor is down. So let's now try it. Try now. Let's shut it again. Show IP BGP summary. Show IP AGRP neighbor. Ping 1.1.1 source loopback 0. IP BGP. Show run section router BGP. It didn't work somehow, right? Because now if you go to show IP route, you can see you have only the default route, right? Now if I go to S3 by 1, let's say, and I do a shutdown, now your neighborship is down, right? Why? Because in the routing table earlier there was a default route which was pointing to 23.1.1.3. So R2 was assuming that I still have the reachability to 1.1.1. Okay, I still have a path to 1.1.1. That's why this fast follower command was not working. So now you can see the neighbor is down. Let's keep this link shut. So now this link is shut and this link is also shut. Okay, now let's try to remove follower and then test it again. Neighbor follower, I'll say interface serial 3 by 0 shut. Sorry, it's 3 by 2. 3 by 2, I'll say no shut. Now it's up. Now we don't have any follower. Okay, show IP route EIGRP. Still, I think the neighborship is not up. It's serial 3 by 2. Okay, show run interface serial 3 by 2 link is up. 24.1.1.4 show IP EIGRP neighbor. Okay, so the neighborship is up now, and we are also receiving 1.1. Now we are back to the normal situation. So if we check show run section router BGP, so there are no more follower command. So if we do a shut now, so it is going to run the same BGP timer, and right, it will take 3 minutes for this router to realize that something is down, right? So now let's unshut it. Now to uh, I'll go to router BGP 100, right? So to mitigate this, what we can do is we can use follower command. I will go to neighbor and I will say follower. As soon as we don't have any route or any path for this my neighbor in the routing table, I will assume that my neighbor is down. For example, now if I shut the interface, shut. Now we don't have any path to reach 1.1.1, and now you can see the BGP is also down, right? So this is how we can use the follower command. Okay, now let me show you the side effect of this. I'm at R2. I will say let's make this link up serial 3 by 1, which is going to the R3. Shut. Okay, at R1. Interface serial 3 by 0. Shut. Show IP route. At R2. Show IP route. You can see at R2 still we don't have the reachability via EIGRP, right? Because the neighbor is down, because we have shut this link. So so now again we have the reachability via default route, because if you do a trace route, let's say 2.2.2 source loopback 0, so we are going via R3, right, using the default route. And now if you check show IP BGP summary, you can see that the neighborship is up, right? So now this follower command is violating our the very first rule, right? That we cannot make the neighborship between two PS if they are reachable via the default route, right? So now we have a problem, right? So now what's the solution of it? The solution of it is to use a route map with the follower command. What we can do is, first let's make our EIGRP up 3 by 2. Shut. Show IP route EIGRP. Let it learn the roots from EIGRP. Show IP EIGRP neighbor. Neighbor will eventually come up. Serial 3 by 2, right? Interface serial 3 by 2. Now shut. Okay, so neighborship is up, right? Now we'll start learning the neighbor via EIGRP, right? Now what I will do is, let's create one access list. Let's say I created one access list, standard 22. What I will do is permit type permit 1.1.1 0.0.0. So the IP of my peer I will match here in the access list. Okay, I will create one route map. Let's say with the name follower. I will match this access list in my route map, right? I'll call this. So my access list number is this one, 22. We can do what I will do is I will go to router PGP. With the full follower command, we can use the route map. What is the name of route map? It's follower. That's it. Done. Now, what this command will do, it will keep on checking my peer IP or the IP that we have called in the ACL, right? So in the ACL, what we are matching 1.1.1.1. So as soon as 1.1.1 goes down, it is going to break the neighborship. Okay, and with this, that default route condition that was violating in our last scenario with when we were using only follower, that problem will also be resolved because it is going to check this particular route in the routing table. It is not going to check the default route only. So now let's try to shut, because in a previous case what was happening is as soon as we were shutting down the EIGRP neighborship, then router 2 was using the default route to reach R1 and neighborship was coming up. Now let's test. I'm at R2, I'm shutting it down. As soon as I shut it, my peer IP is gone from the routing table, and now you can see now it is no more violating our very first rule that the connectivity must not be reachable via default route. So this is how we can leverage this follower. Okay, let's make it up again. Shit. IP BGP summary. Okay, I'm at R2. Interface serial 3 by 1. Let's shut it at R1. I just want to show you one more thing. Serial 3 by 0. Shut. So I have shut this path. So now we have only R1, R4 and R2. Now I'm at R1. Show IP interface brief. Let's say I have this loopback 12. Okay. Show IP EIGRP interfaces. Do show run interface loopback 12. So sorry. This is slash 32. Okay. So router, let's advertise it into BGP network mask. Okay. So we have advertised it into BGP. Now I'm at R2. Show IP BGP. So I am receiving this route, right? 20.20.20. It's valid and it's best also. Let's try to reach it via source loopback, let's say 0. But it is showing it's unreachable, right? So now what is happening here is R4 is saying that I do not know this route. R4 is sending the unreachable message, right? Because you advertised the 20 subnet into BGP. So only the neighborship is between R1 and R2. R4 is not a BGP participant, right? We are running just EIGRP. So if I go at R4, now what will happen is R2 will send the traffic to R4, and R4 is not having any route, right? If I go to R4, show IP route, it doesn't have the network of 20, right? So now what we can do is, so this is called a black hole situation. So this was happening in the old days. Right now, we have the full matched neighborship between the BGP. So R1 will be having neighborship with R4, and R4 will be having neighborship with R2, and R2 will be having neighborship with R1. So when R1 will advertise the 20 network, so it will also advertise to R4, so that R4 is also aware. So in that case, when R2 will send the traffic to R4, then R4 will get to know, right? And R4 already knows how to reach that 20 network, right? So in old days, what there was a concept of synchronization. So what synchronization says that, let's say R1 advertise the 20 network to R2, okay? So to avoid this loophole situation, what R2 will do is, first it will check that if I am receiving the same route via my IGP or not, right? In this case, R4 between R4 and R2, what we are using is EIGRP, right? So R2 will check if I'm receiving this route via EIGRP or not. If R2 is not receiving the route via EIGRP, the same route, it is not going to install it into the BGP table to avoid this black hole situation. Okay. By default, synchronization is disabled, but we can enable it. For example, I will go to router BGP and I will say synchronization. Okay. At R2 also I will say router BGP 100 synchronization. Okay. Now synchronization is on. Let's break the neighborship. I'll say clear IP BGP star. Neighborship is up, right? Wait. Clear IP BGP star soft in. Show IP BGP. Show IP route EHRP. Now you can see in the BGP table, the routes are not best. They are valid but not best, because let's say 20.20.20, what are because we have enabled synchronization. Now R2 will check show IP route EIGRP, let's say, because we are running EIGRP. So via IGP it is not learning this route, right? There is no 20 route via any IGP, or for that matter this 100 route. This is also not in the routing table, or also it is not learning on via the IGP, right? So this is how the synchronization works. To avoid this black hole situation, R2 will match a BGP entry against the IGP. So if it receives anything from the IGP, only then it is going to install it. So now if I advertise this subnet, let's say I am advertising this 20 subnet into EIGRP. 000 show IP AGRP interfaces. Now let's go back to R2. You can see the 20 network is best now, because now it is reachable via EIGRP or the IGP. But you can see still the 100 network is not best, because we advertised only 20 network into the IGP, or you can say EIGRP. So this is how the synchronization works. Okay. Now let's go back to our slide. Okay. So these are some conditions. So first one we already discussed. Second one is AS number must match with the configured one. What does it mean is that, let's say if I'm at R1, let's say show run section router PGP. So for neighbor 2.2.2, the remote AS is 100. If I configure here, let's say router BGP 100 and my neighbor, first let's remove it. I will say neighbor 2.2.2, let's say remote AS is 200. Okay. Show run section router BGP. Right. What I have done is neighbor 2.2.2 remote AS is 200, router BGP, sorry, 100, neighbor 2.2.2 update source loopback 0. Now your neighborship is not going to come up, right? Why? Because neighbor is in AS 100, right? Show run section router BGP. Your neighbor is in AS 100, and what you have mentioned is that your neighbor is in which AS? 200, right? So your neighborship is not going to come up. Okay. So this is one of the condition. No synchronization. Neighbor. So I will say neighbor 2.2.2 yes 100. Update source loopback 0. So now you can see the neighborship came up, right? Start also, I will say router BGP 100, no synchronization. Let's remove it. Okay, so the next one is the authentication. This is self-explanatory. So you can also set the password to your neighbor statement. Okay. Peer must have unique router ID. So both the peers must have the same, I mean, different router ID, right? It must have some unique router ID. So router ID concept is same as OSPF. That by default, highest loopback will be the router ID of a router, and if there is no loopback, then the highest interface IP. Okay. So now let's say I'm at R1 and I say router BGP 100, BGP router ID, BGP router ID, give any number 10.10.10.10. Okay, and I will set the same router ID here as well. Router BGP router ID 10.10.10.10. Now you can see it is throwing a error BGP identifier wrong, right? Now your neighborship will be down because this is not satisfying the condition, right? This one, peer must have unique router ID. So now what is happening is R1, if let's say this is also not an ideal situation, right? If let's say if R1 is advertising something, let's say R1 is advertising this 13.1.1 route to R2, and if it is having the same router ID, so R2 will think that okay, someone is telling me my own information, right? So this is not recommended, and your BGP neighborship is not going to come up if you are using the same router ID. Okay. So as soon as I change the router ID, let's say 10, I say 2.2.2. IPBGP summary. It will come up. Now you can see these states are going to open confirm. The last one is the normal one. BGP version must be same. Normally we'll find the BGP version 4, right? Let's say if I say show IP BGP neighbor and my neighbor IP, right? This is one more command you can use. We'll discuss it later. So here you can check the BGP version. It's normally version 4. Okay. So the router ID is the remote router ID. So my neighbor's router ID is 10.10.10. Follower is also configured with the route map. You can see here. Hold time is 180. Keep alive is 60 seconds. Right. So now we do have some states in BGP. Okay. So we have different states in BGP. Let's say idle, connect, active, open, sent, open, confirm, and the last one, which is hardly visible, it is established state. Okay. So the very first one is the idle state. So ideal state is something you can say, let's we have R1 and R1 is connected to R2. Okay. And so R1 at R1 we have the loopback 1.1.1. Here we have 2.2.2. So idle state means nothing is happening at this state. Let's say you give neighbor command, you give neighbor command neighbor 1.1, sorry 2.2.2 update source. Let's say it's in AS200, it is in AS100. So at R1 you says neighbor 2.2.2.2 remote AS this update source loopback 0, and your neighbor is not reachable to you. So in that condition your state will be idle, right? The next one is the connect state. In the connect state, let's say R1 sent the, first of all, as we discussed in our last lecture, so there will be a TCP connection, three-way handshake, and a TCP connection will be established, right? Let's say R1 sent the SYN packet to R2. So the router who gets the SYN packet, in our case, it's R2. So R2 will be in connect state, okay? And the router who sent the SYN packet will be in active state, okay? So in our case, R1 will be in active state. Okay, so now let's say the TCP connection is established. Now devices will send the open message. So now let's say R1 send the open message to R2. So they will exchange a couple of things. Let's say R1 will tell, okay, this is my AS number, this is my router ID, right? My hold down timer is this one. So they, and also they will exchange some capability. So they will exchange the information, and R2 will also send the open message to R1, right? So at this stage, let's say if everything is okay, R1 check, okay, the remote AS that I configured, it's the same, and authentication maybe they have configured with the password, and also everything is fine. Then R1 will move to the open confirm, right? But at this stage, let's say something is not good in the open message of R2. Maybe the password is not good, or the AS number is not good. Then in that condition, again, the situation will go back to here. Again, they will start with, they will again go back to idle state. Okay, they will again they will keep on checking. They will check, they will move to connect state, then they will again send the open message, then, and this process will keep on repeating. Okay, and if everything is fine, after the if everything is fine, they will move to open confirm, and in the open confirm they will send the keep alive. Let's say R1 will send the keep alive to R2. R2 is also in open confirm, and then R2 will send the keep alive to R1, and after that this is the last stage, which is established. Okay, so these are the various states of BGP that you must be aware of. Okay, idle, connect, active, open send, open confirm, and established.